everybody and welcome back to my channel. My name's Lucy and I'm a PhD student at the University of Birmingham, and today I am returning to Birmingham after spending 3 months at my parents' house seeing out the pandemic. I realise the pandemic is not over, but lockdown restrictions are easing. So this is kind of everything I brought with me from Birmingham, plus some stuff I brought since moving to my parents. And it's meant to all go in those 2 suitcases. Somehow, I don't think that's going to work. I do have canvas bags for the books and I will use those as well, but that's the main storage and there's a lot of stuff. I didn't realise I had this much stuff and I still haven't cleared out the study space. Okay, I don't know if the time lapse would have worked, but all the stuff that was here is now in there. Apart from the blankets and that canvas bag, because I've still got stuff in the study. But that's not bad. So this is kind of a pile of everything that was just scattered around the house. I need to look for shoes. See, pair my shoes there. Because I do have a habit of leaving my stuff all over. Kind of crazy to think that when I came here it was winter, so I brought scarves and coat. Okay. And it's super warm, which I wasn't expecting, so I've had to open quite a few windows and run the water and things like that, because as I said, no one's been living here for like 3 months. So I haven't done any of my unpacking, it's all just here. The only thing I've really sorted out is the kitchen, because I didn't want the food going off or anything like that. Well, hello, I thought it was time I had a little chat. I've just come back from a run, which is why I'm wearing this. I mean, I love this top, but that is also why I'm wearing this and the hair's up. But I thought it'd be maybe a good idea to have a little chat about why I came back to Birmingham when I did and how I'm finding it. I've been back I came back on Tuesday evening, it's now Saturday. So I've been back 4 days, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Yeah, this is the start of my 4th day because Tuesday I really just was here for the evening. I haven't come back because campus has opened. I haven't come back because necessarily things at the university are opening up again. I came back because some of my friends had come back and some of them were science-based, so some of the labs are opening up again, but it's invitation only and you have to get written permission, so obviously that doesn't count towards me. But I knew some more of my friends were coming back. With the easing of the lockdown restrictions, I also knew that there was a chance that I would get to see people if I came back. I wouldn't necessarily be stuck in my flat the whole time. Obviously still following precautions, still following the recommended guidelines. To be honest, probably being a bit more cautious than the recommended guidelines, because in some cases I think it's a bit too soon to be opening up certain things. I don't get why the theme parks are being allowed to open up again. Like, that to me makes no sense. Who right now is being like, yeah, I really want to go to a theme park. That's what I want to do. I don't get that mentality. So I won't be going to any theme parks, I can tell you that now. But I might go for like walks with friends at a distance, things like that. I've been living with my parents since just before the lockdown started. I think I moved back like a week before, maybe not even that much, before the lockdown started. So I had been living with them for 12 weeks, and I love my parents, but as a 26, nearly 27-year-old, living with your parents again is hard. And I think other people can relate to this. I have lived independently with my parents for quite a while now. Yes, I've gone back for certain things, and yes, I've had times where I've been there, but I've never lived with my parents again when I'm not leaving the house. Because I lived with my parents for a year before I started my PhD to save up money, but I had a part-time job. I would also go outside of the house to do my writing, to work on my research, things like that. So it wasn't quite the same situation. Also, my dad was leaving the house every day. My mum would leave the house every day. So we weren't all trapped in a house together, and I think that makes a difference. And although we got on remarkably well, I just was kind of got to the point where I was like, you know what? It's time for me to go. It's time for me to move on and return to my own flat, which I love very much, and to kind of start living my life again on my own terms. I went back to my parents because my anxiety got really bad when COVID started out. The thought of spending a prolonged period of time by myself in my flat really didn't appeal to me because of my anxiety, because of my mental health issues. That just wasn't something I could see myself coping with very well. And that was an option for me. I said this before the official lockdown came in. So for me, that was the right decision at the time. And I'm really happy I did that, because I think it did help a lot. I had access to a nice big garden, which some of you might have seen on my Instagram. I was back in the countryside, so I could go on walks. I was back with my dog, the family dog, but I love Lilo, so that really helped having a dog around. And it was definitely the right decision to do at the time, but it was also time to come back, and times are changing. And yeah, my mental health still isn't maybe as good as it can be, but I think that's understandable considering we're in a global pandemic, considering everything that's happening in the world right now, and just generally being stuck inside, even with the lockdown restrictions easing, it's hard. So that's partly why I came back. I also came back because I was struggling to work at my parents' house, even with my dining room set up, even with, you know, lots of space and very understanding parents who knew that I was working, even though it was like PhD work and stuff, I was still struggling. The reality was, when I was at my parents' house, I don't have a bedroom at my parents' house anymore. So I was in the guest room. I obviously only had whatever I took from here, so I didn't have all my stuff, I didn't have all my research things, even though I tried to take everything I needed. I actually left one of the trilogies that I'm analysing for my first chapter here, and I brought digital versions, but it's not the same. And I was just struggling to write at my parents' house. I was finding it quite easy to research, to organise, to do admin stuff, to do kind of timelines and thesis, sort of more, I suppose, the more data side of my research I was finding quite easy to do, because I didn't have to think about it as much. You know, I could read an article and I could process it and I could make notes on it, or I could do research into publishers and get a list of books and add them to my database of queer romances I was producing, but I couldn't then translate any of that into my own words and kind of bring that all together and write stuff, which is what I needed to start doing. And part of that was because I just wasn't getting any space. And again, this isn't a criticism of my parents in particular, it's just the situation. We weren't getting any space from each other. I don't think anybody who was sharing a house was getting any space. And I realised I needed some uninterrupted time to just get space. And I've got that now. I've pretty much just been holed up in my flat. I've actually turned friends down who wanted to meet up, because I was like, no, I need to get writing, because I've got my supervisor meeting on Friday and I hadn't written anything, and in theory I was meant to have written like a first draft for my first chapter. I'm now at 1,500 words and I'm hoping to get to about 5,000 before I have to give it to my supervisor for them to look over. And that's honestly the main reasons I came back. Just needed a space that I could write in, needed some alone time in contrast to other people, knew that friends were slowly returning to Birmingham, so that knew that when I wanted to meet people I wouldn't be completely without friends, and also just was over living with my parents again. So I've come back. So far it's going really well. I've started running. I'm doing it with a friend who lives just outside Bristol, and we text each other when we've gone for a run. We're doing that couch to 5k thing. Yeah, apart from that, I'm just chilling in my flat. I have ordered delivery a few times, which is another advantage. No longer in the countryside, so have access to delivery. And I just thought I'd explain that, because obviously I did all the packing and stuff. I haven't really explained why I was coming back. So there we go. Okay, I'll see you next Sunday. Bye.